Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get-together live here on Facebook, where we examine headlines from our city, from our state, from our country. We connect with one another. We connect with what's going on in the city with one basic purpose: to try to be more immersed in our lives here in Puerto Vallarta as a community of English-speaking locals, those of us that live here, and try to make this place our home. We look for things to keep ourselves entertained and inspired and happy and all that good stuff, and well-informed, of course. So that's what we do. Yesterday, we were in such a hurry to get the videos going and all that stuff. I never asked you about Carol Burnett and that wonderful video that I shared 2 days ago with you. It's still engraved in my head, and all I could think of doing, at least for the time being, is to extract some of the audio for it. There you go. Yeah. So anyhow, if you don't know what we're talking about, show notes from 2 days ago have this very addictive, Halloween-y, wonderful video with Carol Burnett and Caterina Valente and from West Side Story. What's her face? Chita Rivera. Anyhow, here we are. It's Thursday. It's almost the weekend. It's almost Day of the Dead. There's no activities, but yes, there are some. We're going to talk about that. There's no vaccines, and we're going to talk about that too, because we just flew through that, damper of a news item yesterday. So we have some news. We have news. It's going to be a light program. So have your questions ready. If you have anything you want to chit chat about, please have everything ready so we can do that in the second half of the broadcast. As always, if this is your first time here, let us know by writing the word "new" in your comment, and we'll give you a lively welcome. That's what we do. If you have something truly important to share during the broadcast, please add the letter Q at the beginning so that we can be mindful of it and we can comment accordingly. Rita Moreno, thank you, Deb. Thank you. I knew it was not Chita Rivera. I was just making sure that you guys were paying attention, and you are. Where is my boom when I need it? There it is. Boom. Okay, let's go to the news. So yes, yesterday we were in such a hurry to get started with our videos and adventures that we didn't get to talk about how pissed, how annoyed locals were when they showed up yesterday morning, bright and early, to stand in line at La Lija, only to find there was nobody there. There were no vaccines. There were no people. According to some reports, they didn't even put a freaking sign to say, okay, we're sorry. There's no more vaccines. I did see some reports on Tuesday afternoon indicating that there were not going to be any more vaccines for the day after. But, not everybody is paying attention to the news like we are, because not everybody is making a living out of paying attention to the news as we are. So what happens next? And will those people that are still left over be able to get their vaccines locally somehow? And will they be able to be vaccinated and take care of themselves? What do we know? That's a good question, and we do not have an answer for it, unfortunately. The government has not said anything as to whether there will be any other campaigns for leftovers. So we'll keep our ears and nose and eyes open to see if we have an update for you. But I do hope that the vast majority of people have been able to get their vaccine in time. Everything seems to indicate that the state of Jalisco is heading back to the green zone in the national COVID stoplight indicator. We get this stoplight indicator updated on Fridays, usually every 2 Fridays. But, curious minds always check in between weeks. And although our state is not ruled by this indicator, Governor Alfaro makes his own rules, and we've been happy with that. I wouldn't be surprised if he's pressured to make modifications to the current sanitary guidelines. All I can say is I hope we do not mess it up like we did last winter, when we got a little bit too festive and all of a sudden January came and things went south as far as the vaccines are concerned. This is important news, I think. Starting next year, all feminine hygiene products will no longer be taxed IVA when you purchase them, thanks to an initiative introduced into and approved by both Congress chambers. In other words, such products, tampons and other sanitary products, will be 16% less expensive, and it will be the consumer's attorney's office to ensure that this measure takes effect. This decision has been spearheaded by a movement that calls themselves Dignified Menstruation. They sought to modify a tax law that removes IVA for all products that are indispensable for our physiology. Bravo. And you wouldn't think it, but when you start adding up families that have for the lack of a better term, women that are menstruating or women that are fertile, the expenses add up. So if you take away that tax and instead of having to pay for it, you can use it for food, particularly with families that are low-income families, it really, really makes a difference. So bravo, I think it is a great bit of news. Now, according to this headline, Mayor Michel has had a meeting with Rafael Llerena Zambrano, who oversees the workers' union in the state of Jalisco, to structure and improve our public transportation system. Like they're going to order it for real, finally, for good, seriously. And I roll my eyes and start getting all smirky, only because we get this headline once every other year, where the authorities promise we're really, really, really going to get our shit together and fix the problem with public transportation. Meanwhile, the challenges do not seem to go away. Now, we're not going to dive into who Rafael Llerena Zambrano is, but he's a very powerful union leader in the state of Jalisco. And he controls taxis, he controls buses, he controls all kinds of things. And in the process of doing this, he is not somebody to meddle with. So when they say they're going to organize the transportation, I mean, if you've lived in this town long enough, all you can do is, shrug, roll your shoulders and say, whatever. Just do what you have to do. But seriously, hopefully they will do something about improving the quality of public transportation that we have. Other tourism destinations in the country have done this. and have beautiful transportation systems. There's no reason why we couldn't, and hopefully we will. Um, let's see. QQ. Trisha Lyman just posted this. Is this official? Charro Day of the Dead parade meet at corner of Mexico Avenue and Chile at 5 p.m. on Tuesday, November 2nd. Route is south along the Malecon. Most likely they will begin their journey south around 6-ish. Is this official? Well, I have to say, Lynn, that I love Trisha. She is a dear friend of mine, but she's not an official news source, just like I'm not an official news source. If Trisha posted where she got the information from, then I would consider that reasonably official. But if you don't have the source, like we like to have the source, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I can tell you? I can tell you that we are now going to take a look at the weather. We like to think we're powerful, but we're not. We're just little people sharing information. And for myself and for Coffee and Headlines, we always strive to have sources. We always strive to have, things to back our statements with. Today is 26 degrees again. It's not 27. It feels like, oh, wow, it feels like 29. But look at the humidity. It's low. Humidity is at 76%. Could it be that the weather has changed? I certainly feel a slight difference. Our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 79, and our weather forecast for today calls for rain in the evening. High temperature of 31, low temperature of 23. Tomorrow, Friday, we'll have rain in the evening again. I wonder what's going on. High temperature of 30, low temperature of 22. On Saturday, it'll be humid and partly cloudy through the day with a high temperature of 30, low temperature of 21. I am so very happy to see that the evening temperature is starting to decrease. So hopefully all our temperature in general will continue to do so. What's next? Oh, this is next. Yesterday, or maybe it was this morning, I don't remember, I received this lovely question from Leslie Matthews. Is there a day for Paco in the House where you visit your regular fans, similar to Walking Wednesday, and they give you inside scoop and maybe a peek of their home or view? Well, that's an interesting idea. We've never done something like that, but as always, when an interesting idea comes forth, the first thing that I like to say is, Leslie, thank you so much for coming up with a new idea. Thank you so much for sharing it. I'll give you a little bit of anecdotal information. When I was the managing editor for Vallarta Lifestyles at the very beginning of my tenure, the magazine still did these articles from time to time in which we used to go and visit people's homes, and people would show us their collection of art purchased here in Puerto Vallarta, and we would inform the reader as to what art galleries they purchased the art from, and so forth and so on. And this was done to help create a connection between potential buyers and the local art galleries. But then we got to this place in which people started being reluctant to open their homes because of security. And when you think about it, if somebody's going to write an article about you and your home, and you say, well, we live in Conchas Chinas and we have, thousands and thousands and thousands of pesos or dollars or yen or whatever in art that we have purchased here, and this is how gorgeous and beautiful our home is, then it becomes an open target for potential robberies. So we stopped doing it. People started getting increasingly uncomfortable with the idea, and we simply stopped doing it. Now, that said, I don't think it's a bad idea. Something that we have done here at Coffee and Headlines. What is this program called? Here at Coffee and Headlines, what we've done is invite you viewers to share your photos with us as to what you do, what your view is, what keeps you busy, what keeps you grounded, what makes you local. And that is an invitation that we're going to continue to extend each and every time something like this comes up. Will I be visiting people and having tea with them? Sure, maybe. Just, I don't know. I mean, there's also a matter of feeling comfortable, walking into somebody's home that you don't know. I mean, there's a lot of factors, but the invitation for you folks to share with us things that you are doing or that are keeping you busy is always there. What do you think about this idea? If you have any comments or suggestions about it, do let us know. Ultimately, yes, we make the calls, but we rely on your suggestions to keep this program interesting and lively and worthwhile for everybody that watches. Moving right along, um, just as this thing was posted just now about whether there's going to be a parade or there's not going to be a parade and so forth and so on, we keep seeing that maybe there are going to be some Day of the Dead activities, maybe not. The latest from this article is that Puerto Vallarta's Department of Culture has announced that there will be some Day of the Dead related activities taking place through the city after all, but nothing major. At the Isla Rio Cuale, where the Department of Culture is headquartered, there will be some altars installed. Other altars will be installed at the fairly new cultural center in Pitillal, and finally, the cultural center at La Lija, which is where we get our our pricks, our vaccinations. Films like Coco and other Day of the Dead related films will be screened. And then the article says, in general, activities will begin at 7 p.m. So much for accurate and precise information. This continues to be a pet peeve of mine, how unfortunate it is when organizers of any kind, whether it's a business or a restaurant or an art gallery or the city government, think that we all have like telepathy or something, and we can guess all the details as to where to go, what time, and where to get additional information. There's not much we can do about other people's events, but all I can say is, if you are a restaurant owner, if you're throwing a party, if you are throwing an event, if you're a business, go through the extra effort to provide this information so that we know where to go and we know what to do and we know where to knock if we need additional information. And because we're talking about this, we might as well offer a couple of reminders of things we've discussed before. First of all, do remember that there's going to be this Dia de los Muertos Art and Altars exhibition opening at Art Vallarta tomorrow at 7 p.m., from 7 to 9 p.m. This is beautiful. Check out this ad. It tells you what it is. It tells you where it's going to be. It gives you the address. And of course, we're picking this up from Facebook. So we're going to be sharing the information so that you can find out more about it if you wish to do so. And also, we had mentioned this before. We knew that Casa Museo, our new local history museum that has not opened but is doing all these events to get people buzzing, we knew that they were going to have a Day of the Dead exhibition or activity. And now we know that what they are doing is they are preparing a special Day of the Dead altar in honor of Guadalupe Sanchez Torres. Guadalupe Sanchez Torres was the founder of our city. He called it Las Peñas when he founded it. And of course, we call it Puerto Vallarta now. And again, we know that this is going to be happening on Saturday, October 30th. This is this Saturday from 11 o'clock in the morning to 7 p.m. in the afternoon. You can stop by. The address is listed. So all the information that we need to enjoy this is there. So we celebrate and we're happy to promote these kinds of events that will broaden our appreciation of our culture. And we love it when they include all the necessary information to actually go and enjoy them. And this very quickly brings us to the end of our news for today, our headlines. So we might as well take a quick look at your comments. How funny that we have these days that are really buzzy and activity like yesterday, and yesterday was fun, thank you. And then we have these very mellow days in which there's just not that much new stuff to report. But of course, I'm looking at your good mornings, and you always make me smile. Um, Good morning, Lena. Good morning, Christy. And happy Thursday to you, Marie. Thank you very much for joining us. Uh, I love it when I watch you guys counting days. Uh, and Logan's been sending me photographs. As you know, Logan manages, he's the high priestess of a local villa that is called Villa Lola. And they're having a huge um, dinner for the guests that have taken over the villa. And Logan's been preparing this decoration for the house. I hope he will take a lot of photographs. Logan, take lots of photos so we can all take a look at Villa Lola and we can see how you decorated. And we can find out more about how things went for you on your celebration tonight. Good luck with that. Let's see what else. Boom, bum, boom, boom, bim, bim, bum, bum. Tinky, tinky, tinky. I'll bring this back up and we'll say this much, Lynn. If needless to say, if we find out more information about anything, we will post it on our Facebook page, on the Coffee and Headlines Facebook page during the course of the day so that we can find out more about it. How unfortunate that all these decisions are made last minute and we don't get to really have time to plan for them. The difference between this winter and last winter is that there wasn't a vaccine then and there is one now. This is true, Matthew. I agree with you, but we also know that the vaccine is not foolproof. And we know that this is the first time that we're going through this. So you're right. Last winter we didn't have a vaccine. This winter we have one. All I say is let's just hope we don't fuck it up. Lynn says, I really like the idea of visiting homes, but after your comments announcing valuable contents to the public, maybe not. Again, I've thought about showing you the things that I have around. It's not like I have a spectacularly valuable collection of tchotchkes, but there's something to be said about one's privacy, How does one share those photos? I'd love to share my mandalas and the necklaces that I've made lately. Matthew, when people have sent stuff my way, they sent it through the Coffee and Headlines Facebook page chat. You can do that if you'd like, and I'd love to take a look at your mandalas and necklaces, and I'm sure we all would. So please share those with us, and we'll take it from there. Oh, what a great question, because I forgot to announce it. What is the next colonia to visit? Oh, that's why I forgot to announce it, because we usually announce that on Friday, and Friday is tomorrow. Tomorrow, we get to Conchas Chinas, duh. Conchas Chinas. Yes, tomorrow we get to do Conchas Chinas, which we already walked. So tomorrow is going to be a pretty mellow neighborhood description. We've already seen it, so we're going to talk a little bit about it. Kate Rayburn asks, where is your handsome turquoise hat? If you mean the one that was hanging back there. So I was wearing it when Logan and I were heading up up on the hill at Conchas Chinas. I left it in the Uber, in my Panama hat. I left it in the Uber. I was really bummed out. But, sometimes we leave things behind. Nobody died. I can replace it. So I left my Panama hat in the Uber. I'll just have to get another one. No big deal. What else do we have? Heather gives us a wonderful reminder. Thank you very much. The Marina Vallarta Open Air Market resumes this evening at 6 p.m. Thank you for that. If you are in the marina or would like to explore this market, by all means, feel free to do that. Any news regarding the booster shots for Pfizer vaccine? Nope, no news about that. And this, my friends, we this brings us to the end of our broadcast. My goodness, time flew. It is Thursday, and tomorrow is Friday. Tomorrow we get to visit Conchas Chinas. We will try to talk a little bit about the history of Conchas Chinas, and we will dive into more details as to what it's like to live up there. But I think we got a very clear idea from what we enjoyed yesterday. So, this is our coffee and headlines for today. As always, I am grateful to get together, for getting together with you and sharing time and answering questions and commenting. And I hope you guys have a safe Halloween Day of the Dead season. It's here. It's this weekend. And before you know it, it'll be Thanksgiving. And before you know it, it'll be Christmas. Oh my God. So, before we start getting all worked up about that, have a great day. Have a great rest of the week. And hopefully, we'll get together tomorrow. And if not, sometime in the near future. Have a great day.